Hello my friends. Today we are going to the mountain states of the United States, places where people think no one wants to live, to see how farming and livestock works here. When it comes to mountainous states in the United States, we often think of states like Wyoming, Montana, Utah, or Colorado. Currently, most of the mountainous states in the United States are in the top 15 states with the largest area in the country. However, when it comes to population, most of the mountain states are the most sparsely populated in the country. Montana, for example, has an area of up to 145,500 square miles, but only 1.1 million people live there, and the population density in this state is 7.3 people per square mile. An interesting statistic about Montana is the state is 324 times larger in area than New York City, but has 14 times less population than New York. The harsh climate, which is mostly mountainous terrain and limited flat land, are the main reasons why the mountainous states in America are not considered ideal places to live. In addition, another reason why many people do not want to move to the mountainous states is because land and house prices in these states is being pushed up compared to their real value. The reason for this situation is that people with good economic conditions want to move to these areas to live a life closer to nature. Due to the harsh climatic conditions and mostly mountainous terrain, agricultural activities in the mountainous states of the US is also quite challenging. Major agricultural products in mountain areas include cattle, sheep, potatoes, alfalfa, and hay. Here's what's going on at a chicken farm in the Gallatin Valley, western Montana. The owner of this farm is grinding straw to spread on the floor of the chicken coop, and about 8,700 chicks from the incubator will be delivered here in the next few days. Everything is ready to welcome the chicks. Most of them are shipped here from incubators in Idaho and Colorado. At this farm, thousands of chicks will be raised for 3 to 4 weeks before they are transferred to other farms with the same owner, or they are sold to chicken farms in other states. Those are farms that are not qualified to take care of the chicks. In recent years, Montana has not been among the top US states for chicken production, and the state also has a relatively small poultry industry compared to other states. According to USDA statistics in 2021, in Montana there are about 1.8 million chickens raised for meat, ranking 44th in the country in terms of chicken production, and the number of chickens raised for eggs in this state is only about 430,000 creatures. Due to the harsh weather outside, all chicks here will be raised entirely in cages. However, they will be released to the pastures when they are at least 1 month old. These 3-week-old chickens are eligible to be sold to other farms in the area, or moved to other separate holding areas. Currently, most chicken farms in Montana are located in the large areas of land. Therefore, when sturdy enough, most of the chickens will be released to roam freely and feed on the lawns. Of course, when the weather outside is too cold or too hot, thousands of chickens will be locked in cages to ensure their health remains good. Among the mountainous states in the United States, New Mexico is the state with the largest number of chicken farms, with 253. However, the number of chickens in the state is only about 3.7 million, nearly 7 times less than the number of chickens raised in Idaho, where there are only 92 chicken farms in operation. This is a poultry farm in the city of Brigham, in northern Wyoming. Although it is the snowy season, hundreds of hens laying at this farm are still released to roam freely on days when the snow is not too heavy. In addition to laying hens, this farm is also home to nearly 200 turkeys. With severe weather conditions and snow appearing for many months of the year, large-scale poultry farms in the mountainous states of the US are said to be inefficient. However, since most poultry in these states are raised on a free-range basis, the quality of meat and eggs is always valued much higher than that raised in other factory farms. Say goodbye to the chicken farms. We will now go to the mountains of the western United States to see how the process of grazing thousands of caracal sheep happens. The caracal is a breed of sheep that originated in Central Asia and was first introduced to the western United States in the early 1900s. According to USDA statistics, in 2021, there is about 2,300 caracal sheep in the country, and about 87% of them are distributed in mountainous states such as Colorado, Wyoming, and Utah. These are also the states with the largest number of sheep farms in the United States. Basically, raising caracal sheep is similar to raising other sheep breeds in the United States. However, most caracal sheep ranchers in the United States mix them in with goats because the two species are very sociable with each other. In 1924, the Caracal Sheep Breeders Association was founded in the United States and remains here to this day, with its headquarters located in the heart of the state of Montana. This is also the state with the largest number of caracal sheep farms, with 43. Unlike other common breeds in the United States, most caracal sheep are raised grazing rather than being kept in barns. These sheep spend almost their entire lives roaming the grasslands and mountainous areas of the United States. About 870 caracal sheep are slaughtered in the United States each year for their meat and skins. The remaining caracal sheep are raised for wool. In addition, many farms also raise a few caracal sheep just because of their unique characteristics. Because the area has many active livestock farms, the production of hay for animal feed is also very developed in the mountainous states of the United States. As early as the 1930s, ranchers in the mountain states focused on large-scale production of hay as a reserve fodder for livestock. Currently, Idaho is a mountain state with the largest hay production, with about 17.3 billion pounds produced each year. The state also ranks second on the list of the most hay producing states in the United States. In addition, Montana, with 13.8 billion pounds per year, also ranks fourth on this list. Hello my friends. Originally, only 13 wild rabbits were brought to Australia from England in 1859 by a wealthy man named Thomas Austin. Since then, to this day, the overpopulation of wild rabbits and their negative impact on nature and agriculture has always left the government and many farmers in Australia with a headache to find solutions and appropriate countermeasures. Over the past 100 years, governments and farmers in Australia have adopted a variety of measures to control wild rabbit populations, such as building fences and destroying rabbit burrows. Even biological control measures such as infecting rabbits with viruses and releasing them into the wild have been applied. However, due to favourable living conditions and extremely fast reproduction, the number of wild rabbits in Australia has always increased rapidly, even though at one point 98% of the wild rabbits on this continent were exterminated. Female wild rabbits usually start breeding as soon as they reach 5 to 6 months of age. Currently, female feral rabbits in Australia usually give birth to 4 litters a year, and each litter usually has around 7 to 10 kits born. Yes, that's right, kits is the name for baby rabbits. Baby wild rabbits spend most of their time living in burrows, and they are only allowed out when the mother wild rabbit feels it's safe. These baby rabbits will feed on their mother's milk for about 4 weeks before starting to nibble on food. According to research by the Centre for Invasive Species Solutions in Australia, most wild rabbits will separate from their mothers and begin an independent life as soon as they are weaned. It is estimated that there are currently about 287 million wild rabbits living in Australia, of which about 177 million rabbits are born each year. Hundreds of millions of rabbits are distributed over 71% of Australia's land area, and they are found anywhere there is grass and that they can burrow. In the wild, young wild rabbits are often favourite prey of carnivores such as dingoes, feral cats, or crows. However, the number of wild rabbits killed each year by predators is a tiny fraction of the total number of wild rabbits living in Australia. After about 4 to 5 weeks, these wild rabbits have been weaned and start a new independent life. They will burrow and live wherever there is a food source and less disturbances, like in a backyard, in a garden, or on a hillside. Basically, anywhere in Australia could be an ideal habitat for this highly adaptable animal, except in areas with a lot of clay and sand, like in the northeast of South Australia. Currently, New South Wales, Queensland, and Victoria are the states with the largest wild rabbit populations in Australia, of which New South Wales is home to around 65 million wild rabbits. The negative impact that hundreds of millions of feral rabbits have on Australia's ecosystems include the depletion of vegetation and natural grasslands associated with overgrazing by wild rabbits. It is said that just one wild rabbit could make an entire lawn at an international standard football field impossible to grow grass. An adult wild rabbit usually weighs about 3.3 pounds and needs to consume 7% of their body weight each day. The burrowing habits of hundreds of millions of wild rabbits in Australia also causes severe erosion and destruction of the landscape in which they live. In addition, another negative effect of wild rabbits on Australia can be thought of as the habit competition with native animals. Hundreds of millions of wild rabbits also threaten some 322 species of flora and fauna, and this cost the Australian government more than $215 million a year. To this day, Australia's wild rabbit population is 11 times larger than the country's population, and they always have been a major problem for the ecosystem and agriculture. In response to the rampant wild rabbits, the Australian government allows anyone to hunt them in unlimited numbers. In addition, the government also encourages people to organise wild rabbit hunts to reduce the number of this invasive species. Along with that, biological control measures are always being studied to find viruses that can kill wild rabbits in large numbers. In short, just like the wild boar problem in the United States, the wild rabbit problem in Australia will still cause headaches for the government and farmers for many years to come to find effective control measures for this invasive species. In addition to feral rabbits, feral cats are also an invasive species that causes many negative impacts on Australia's ecosystem. It is estimated that there are currently 6.3 million feral cats living in Australia. Each year, millions of feral cats in Australia kill around 1.1 billion mammals, 399 million birds, and around 93 million frogs. According to a 2010 study, each feral cat in Australia kills around 740 wildlife each year. Feral cats threaten the survival of more than 100 native species in Australia. They have caused the extinction of a number of ground-dwelling birds and small to medium-sized mammals. In addition, they are also the main cause of the decline of many endangered species of animal strains, such as pangolins or bandicoots. Currently, trapping and hunting feral cats is the most commonly used solution to control this invasive species. Every year, about 63,000 feral cats are killed in Australia, in addition to tens of thousands of other feral cats trapped and sent to animal shelters across the country.